Entrepreneurship managing personnel or human resource management. Managing personnel/human resource management. Human resource management is the art of influencing people to do all activities in the enterprise with the aim of increasing productivity or producing efficiently or. This is the process of planning, monitoring, controlling, and administering of personnel to include their recruitment, motivation, and retention in the production process. It is also concerned with development and application of policies governing the following. Manpower planning. This is the ability to determine the labor force needed after analyzing all business activities. It includes the following. 1. Recruitment. This is the process of identifying and locating suitable workers to a given job. 2. Selection. It refers to picking the best candidate for a particular job. 3. Placement, induction, and termination. This involves assigning workers tasks to be done in the enterprise, introducing new workers to the enterprise, and also laying them off from work due to indiscipline. 4. Remuneration, terms of employment and working conditions. 5. Human resource development. This concerns with improving the skills of workers, e.g. through further training, study tours, workshops, and seminars, etc., and also providing maintenance requirements to the staff members. 6. Formal and informal communication at all levels throughout the enterprise. 7. Negotiation and application of agreements on wages and working conditions. 8. Motivation. Importance of human resource management. Below are advantages of proper human resource management in an enterprise. 1. It helps an enterprise to employ the right and qualified people with the required skills for effectively handling the business operation, which increases business productivity, i.e., marketing skills, purchasing skills. 2. Human resource management helps to minimize cost in the enterprise by minimizing wastage of time and resources, because it allows workers to properly use the resources in the business without wastage in order to allow the business goals. 3. It helps the enterprise to be effective and efficient in achieving the set target. It provides motivation to the workers to work committedly towards achieving the set business goals. 4. It helps to minimize damages to machines and equipment by using technically competent people. 5. Staff training and development. It helps in training of staff in the various internal and external training programs such as workshops and seminars, which help to improve worker skills and their productivity. 6. Promotes business image. Good personnel management leads to meeting the demands. Entrepreneurship managing personnel or human resource management. Performance in all departments, which helps in promoting efficiency and also determining payment. 9. Improves the working conditions. Effective personnel management helps to provide workers with conducive working environment that provides them to put up in there, thus when producing goods and services for the success of the enterprise. 10. It minimizes labor strikes and stress in the business through communicating effectively with employees, proper direction and coordination of workers. Revision questions. Why is it necessary to practice proper human resource management? Explain the objectives/rationale/reason/need for proper personnel management in an enterprise. Begin with / in order to / intents on each of the above points. 1. To enable an enterprise to employ the right and qualified people with the required skills for effectively handling the business operation. This increases business productivity, i.e., marketing skills, purchasing skills. 2. To minimize costs in the enterprise by minimizing wastage of time and resources, because it allows workers to properly use the resources in the business without wastage in order to allow the business goals. 3. To achieve the set goals and objectives of the enterprise. It is done to help the enterprise to be effective and efficient in achieving the set target. It provides motivation to the workers to work committedly towards achieving the set business goals. 4. To minimize damages to machines and equipment by using technically competent people. 5. To develop and train staff members. It helps in training of staff in the various internal and external training programs such as workshops and seminars, which help to improve worker skills and their productivity. 6. To promote business image. Good personnel management leads to meeting the demands of the customers satisfactorily by producing goods and services of high quality due to employing the right manpower. This will improve business image. 7. To promote good staff relations. Proper personnel management leads to a good relationship between the entrepreneur and his employee, which leads to business success. 8. To evaluate workers' performance. Good human resource management carries out performance appraisals and therefore helps in evaluation of workers' performance in all departments, which helps in promoting efficiency and also determining payment. 9. To improve the working conditions. Effective personnel management helps to provide Workers with conducive working environment that provides them to put up in their best when producing goods and services for the success of the enterprise. Then, to minimize labor strikes and stress in the business through communicating effectively with employees, proper direction and coordination of workers. Human resource requirements of a business. A manpower planning/human resource planning. This is a strategy for acquisition, utilization, improvement and preservation of an enterprise's human resources. Features of manpower planning. It involves forecasting of the future manpower needs to make adequate and timely entrepreneurship, managing personnel or human resource management. It determines the right number and types of workers required for effective accomplishment of the tasks. It involves both quantitative and qualitative planning of workers. It involves accurate determination of current manpower in an enterprise so as to determine the right status. It is a continuous process since the demand and supply of labor changes. Objectives of manpower planning. To ensure optimum use of present manpower. To promote the development of the existing personnel. To ensure proper control measures in an enterprise so that manpower is available when needed. To forecast the type of skills required by the business in future. To ensure that right workers are available at the right time. To reduce labor costs. To guide the government in employment generation. To ensure effective diversification of business activities. Explain the advantages of manpower planning. It enables the management to reduce labor costs since imbalances due to shortages in supply and surpluses in demand are corrected before they become unmanageable. It helps in identifying gaps that need to be filled in the existing manpower so that suitable training programs are designed to build workers' skills. It guides the government in employment creation, education reforms, and in transferring workers within the country. It provides a basis for the development of workers so as to ensure optimum use of the available talents. It helps the enterprise to recruit right workers. It helps in diversification of business activities, for example, producing new products. 1. Organizational chart and design. Organizational plan/design involves setting up specific units of responsibility or jobs, the performance of which leads to the achievement of the overall organizational objectives. It is the starting of recruiting employees. This is an illustration or diagram that shows the organizational structure of a firm showing the overall total management from the topmost administrators down to the different department of the firm, e.g. Board of Directors, Management Director/General Manager, Marketing Manager, Production Manager, Personnel Manager, Support Staff, Support Staff, Support Staff. 2. Job analysis. Entrepreneurship, managing personnel or human resource management. A job is a specific position requiring the performance of specific tasks into broad areas of responsibility performed regularly by a person as his or her assignment to earn a living. Job analysis is the systematic collection and recording of information concerning different aspects of a job, like the purpose of the job, the major duties it entails, the conditions under which it will be performed, the term of payment, etc. Components of job analysis. The components of job analysis include the following: job description, job grading or evaluation, job performance standards or personnel assessment, job specifications. Content of job analysis. The job analysis should provide the following information. 1. Job identification, i.e., the title of the job and its code number. 2. Job characteristics, i.e., the location, supervision, hazards. 3. What the worker actually does, i.e., the specific duties and tasks that make up the assignment, the timing given to perform the tasks. 4. How the job is performed. It clearly states the nature of the operations, for example, selling, driving, customer care. 5. The materials and equipment used to perform the tasks. 6. Worker S attribute, e.g., expensive training, social skills. Procedures of conducting job analysis. Collection of data. This involves getting background information about what the job is made up of, its relation to other jobs, and its requirements for satisfactory performance. 2. Selection of representative positions. This involves selection of sample representative positions for the analysis process. 3. Collection of job analysis data. This involves getting information regarding the features of a job, required worker qualifications, and the required experience. 4. Development of a job description. This is a written statement which spells out the main characteristics of the job, qualifications, and level of experience. The developing job specification. This includes the qualification of the person intending to take up a job, techniques used in job analysis. Personal observation. It involves collecting information regarding the materials and Equipment used, the working conditions, etc. using personal observation. Roman 2. Questionnaire technique. This involves sending well-prepared written questions to job holders for filling in. Roman 3. Personal interviews. This involves job holders and managers and writes down the answers for the purpose of job analysis. Roman 4. Maintenance of log records. This involves every worker maintaining the duties Entrepreneurship managing personnel or human resource management. 4. It provides information that helps employers in planning, training, and development programs. 3. Job description. This is a broad statement of the purpose, scope, duties, and responsibilities of a particular job. It is a written record or summary which specifies what a worker is supposed to do on a specific job, i.e., the major duties and responsibilities of a worker. Contents of job description. A typical job description should contain the following. 1. Job identification, i.e., the title of the job, department in which it falls. 2. Job summary. This gives a brief explanation of the content of the job. 3. Job duties and responsibilities. 4. Relation to other jobs. 5. Supervision. It specifies the reporting point or the immediate supervisor. 6. Use machines and tools. This states the machines, tools, and equipment to be used to complete the job. 7. Working conditions in terms of employment. NB. Look for samples in Monday New Vision. 4. Job specifications. And is usually expressed in terms of behavior, i.e., what the worker does, what knowledge, skills, and experience he uses in doing it. O is a detailed statement of the minimum acceptable human qualities, physical and mental, required for the successful performance of the named job. Contents of the job specification. 1. Physical characteristics of a person like health, strength, age bracket, height, vision, voice. 2. Personal characteristics. These include leadership qualities, initiative and staff, driving, aggressiveness. 3. Psychological characteristics. These include decision-making ability, judgment, alertness and mental concentration. 4. Responsibilities undertaken by an individual which includes supervision of others, preventing financial loss. 5. Education and skills. This includes academic qualification and technical know-how. 6. Working experience required for the job. 7. Other features like knowledge of special languages required to perform a given job, etc. 5. Job grading is the process of evaluating or rating of job in order of value basing on knowledge, skills, and experience required. Or, this refers to the process of determining the relative value or worth of every job in the entrepreneurship managing personnel or human resource management. Objectives of job grading. 1. To secure and maintain complete, accurate, and impersonal description of each distinct job in the whole organization. 2. To provide a standard procedure for determining the relative value of each job in an enterprise. 3. To promote a fair and accurate way of considering all workers for promotions, transfers, retentions, training, and dismissal. 4. To provide information for organization, work selection and placement, etc. Merits of job grading. 1. Job grading enables people to understand the importance or the relative value of the jobs they perform in the enterprise. 2. It provides information that is useful in setting salary scales. 3. It provides basis for negotiations between labor unions and enterprise management regarding determination of equitable wage structures. 4. It improves the relationship between labor and management and builds workers' morale since grievances arising out of wage differentials are addressed. Demerits/limitations of job grading. 1. Job grading is difficult to implement since it takes a long time and is also quite expensive for small firms. 2. It generally creates doubt and fear in the minds of the employees when it is being set for the first time. 3. It sometimes tends to be subjective where individual job descriptions are difficult to match. 6. Job performance standards refers to the acceptable competency aspects for a given job or is the expected output for a given job. Role of the entrepreneur as a human resource manager/personnel manager. As a personnel manager, the entrepreneur performs the following functions. 1. Recruitment. This is the process of locating and identifying the suitable candidate for the job either from within the enterprise or outside the enterprise. 2. Selection. This is the process involving a series of steps from applications to interviews, testing personnel preferences, and physical examination to establish whether or not a candidate is suitable for a job. 3. Introduction training. The entrepreneur should organize induction training or orientation programs for the selected suitable applicants through which the recruited Employees meet and interact with the employees, gets to know their terms and conditions of employment get acquainted with the business premises or workplace. 4. Planning and supervising training. The entrepreneur should also plan and program training, both internal and external, for employees. He should plan an on-job training program for development skills and improving performance of the employees as they try to cope with the changes in work environment, habit, and demand. 5. Interaction. The entrepreneur needs to continuously interact with his employees through entrepreneurship, managing personnel, or human resource management. 7. Dealing with disciplinary problems/issues. The entrepreneur should clearly set the rules and regulations of the enterprise regarding discipline, and these should be known by all workers. 8. Negotiating with labor unions and service unions. The entrepreneur should always negotiate with employees, whether organized under a labor union or not, when they seek for improvement in pay, employee benefits, and working conditions. 9. Organizing work. The entrepreneur should organize work in the enterprise to ensure it is enjoyable for the workers and also efficiently and effectively done. 10. Managing benefit programs like group insurance, transport, and health. 11. Workers' performance evaluation and motivation. He/she should provide periodic reviews of performance for each employee and also should recognition for the worker's strength and effort and needs for further development. The recruitment process. This refers to the process of identifying and selecting of employees in an enterprise. Hiring a new employee is as important to the entrepreneur as it is to the person hired. Factors considered when determining the number and type of employees to work in an enterprise. The following are considered when determining the number and type of the employees. Number of employees. 1. The type of skills required for some particular business and the work they do in the production process, like negotiation skills and communication skills, are considered when recruiting salespersons or marketers. 2. The number of jobs available. This varies with the size of the business in that the smaller the size of the business, the less the jobs available, and the larger the size of the business, the more the jobs available and the bigger the number of employees. 3. Support of the family members. Support from the family members necessitates the business to employ fewer workers, but when there is no family support, the business employs more workers. 4. The level of demand for the products. High demand for products encourages entrepreneurs to employ more people, but low levels of demand cause fewer workers to be employed. 5. Cost of hiring labor. High cost of hiring labor reduces the ability of a business to employ people, hence few people are employed, but low costs of hiring labor enable the business to employ more workers. 6. Level of technology used in the business. Use of advanced technology requires employment of few workers, like use of tractors, computers, but use of rudimentary technology, low level of technology, traditional or backwards technology necessitates many workers to be employed. Types of employees. 1. Level of education/qualification. This considers the level of education of employees. Entrepreneurship, managing personnel, or human resource management. 3. Age of the employees. Different jobs have different age requirements that are some want young and energetic workers like jobs that need lifters, while technical jobs need mature people like chief administrators. 4. Marital status. Some employers or entrepreneurs prefer employing single workers than married workers because they are flexible. For example, school wardens and matrons, due to less responsibilities they possess. 5. Sex of the employee. Some employers or entrepreneurs prefer employment to women, and others women to men for different reasons, like for simple activities. Women are preferred while heavy work is preferred for men. 6. Health status of the employee. Some employers want workers with good health status because they are in position to be at work at all times. 7. Language spoken by the employee. Some employers are willing to employ people who know to speak many languages and specific languages for easy communication at the workplace. QN explain the factors that determine the number of employees in an enterprise. QN. What are the factors that an entrepreneur considers when determining the number and type of employees in his enterprise? Sources of recruiting employees. Effective recruiting requires that you know where and how to obtain qualified applicants. These are some of the major sources. 1. Present employees. Promotion from within tends to keep employee morale high. Whenever possible, current employees should be given first consideration for any job openings. 2. Unsolicited applicants. Small businesses receive many unsolicited applications from qualified and unqualified individuals. The former should be kept on file for future reference. 3. Institutions. High schools, trade schools, vocational schools, colleges, universities are sources for certain types of employees, especially if prior working experience is not a major factor in the job specification. 4. Private employment agencies. These firms provide a service for employers and applicants by matching people to jobs in exchange for a fee. 5. Employee referrals. References by current employees may provide excellent prospects for the business. Current employees can help the entrepreneur to spot skilled and talented employees. 6. Help wanted advertising. Letting people know that the business is hiring a key element in gaining access to the pool of potential employees. It involves using local media like newspapers like daily and weekly newspapers, radio and TV, etc. 7. Specialty media publications, such as trade association magazines and newspapers, may also produce quality job applicants. Entrepreneurship, managing personnel or human resource management. Transfers develop workers for future promotions. Transfers provide greater motivation to employees and reduce monotony arising from working at the same workplace. They increase job satisfaction to the worker. They increase productivity and effectiveness of the business enterprise. They improve on the relationship between the subordinate and the supervisor. They improve the skills of the transferred employees. 2. Through promotions. This refers to appointing an employee to a position of a high responsibility or authority. It involves vertical upward movement of workers from positions of lower responsibility and rewards to positions of higher responsibility and reward. It has some merits which include the following. Promotion based on merit recognizes and rewards merit and competence of a worker. Promotion based on merit also acts as a motivator to the competent worker and encourages them to work even harder. Promotion enables a firm to retain competent employees who may have moved for greener pastures or better positions in the firm. Promotion based on seniority keeps the worker satisfied due to the recognition, and promotion leads to increased productivity due to the motivation they give to the workers. They also increase the workers' earnings since payment in most cases also varies with position and seniority. Seniority-based promotion creates a sense of discipline and respect for senior workers, which promotes harmonious relationship between workers and employees. It has some demerits which include the following. Seniority-based promotion fails to recognize merit and competencies of workers, thus becoming a demotivating factor to the competent workers and therefore discouraging competence. Merit-based promotions tend to cause fluctuations among the senior workers, especially when their juniors get promoted on merit to positions above them. Such workers may become undisciplined and fail to take orders from their promoted juniors. It is not easy to come up with a system of measuring competence in an impartial and fair way for merit-based promotions. It creates uncertainty among the workers as they become insecure of who may be picked for promotion, i.e. if it's merit-based. 3. Using present employee/employee referrals. References by current employees may provide excellent prospects for the business. Current employees can help the entrepreneur to spot skilled and talented employees. 4. Through advertising. This involves informing the public about the jobs available through entrepreneurship, managing personnel or human resource management. 8. Through use of labor/trade unions. These labor organizations can also recommend well-trained and experienced persons from their registered members for recruitment to the vacant positions. 9. Through field trips. This involves the human resource manager going to the field to spot suitable candidates for the available jobs. 10. By use of public and unsolicited applicants. Sometimes entrepreneurs recruit casual workers from the people near the business or from many unsolicited applications from qualified and unqualified individuals. The former should be kept on file for future reference. Importance of recruitment. 1. It enables the enterprise to take on the right people with the required skills on the available jobs, hence increasing productivity in the enterprise. 2. It enables the enterprise to achieve the set goals and objectives since it has sufficient, efficient, and effective manpower. 3. It reduces resource wastage in the business, particularly time which would have been spent on carrying out training on unskilled manpower. 4. It enables the enterprise to have continuity in production since vacant positions, perhaps due to death of individual workers and restructuring of organizations, are always filled up with the right people. 5. It enables the enterprise to minimize costs and maximize profits since the labor recruited is efficient and effective at work. 6. It enables the enterprise to withstand competition since the labor recruited being efficient and effective produces high-quality output. 7. It enables the enterprise to replace retired, dismissed, or terminated employees. As a result, production goes on continuously. 8. It enables the enterprise to groom some of its workers for various responsibilities for Example, the managerial positions within the enterprise. 9. It enables the enterprise to carry out its expansion program for the future since it has sufficient manpower to expand. Purpose/objectives/rationale/need for recruitment. Begin with / in order to at the beginning of each point. 1. To enable the enterprise to take on the right people with the required skills on the available jobs, hence increasing productivity in the enterprise. 2. To enable the enterprise to achieve the set goals and objectives since it has sufficient, efficient, and effective manpower. 3. To reduce resource wastage in the business, particularly time which would have been spent on carrying out training on unskilled manpower. 4. To enable the enterprise to have continuity in production since vacant positions, perhaps due to death of individual workers and restructuring of organizations, are always filled up with the right people. 5. To enable the enterprise to minimize costs and maximize profits since the labor recruited is efficient and effective at work. 6. To enable the enterprise to withstand competition since the labor recruited being efficient and effective produces high-quality output. 7. To enable the enterprise to replace retired, dismissed, or terminated employees. As a result, production goes on continuously. 8. To enable the enterprise to groom some of its workers for various responsibilities, for example, the managerial positions within the enterprise. 9. To enable the enterprise to carry out its expansion program for the future since it has sufficient manpower to expand. Procedures for recruiting employees. Entrepreneurship, managing personnel, or human resource management. Below are the procedures for recruiting employees. Collecting data to establish the need for recruitment. Determining the number of employees to be recruited. Establishing the levels of qualifications and skills to be possessed by the workers. Determining the remuneration, fringe benefits, etc. to be given to workers. Advertising the available jobs. Receiving applications. Shortlisting applicants. Conducting interviews. Selecting the suitable candidates. Sending messages to successful candidates. Inducting the selected employees. Revision questions. Distinguish between recruitment and induction. Describe the sources of employee recruitment. Explain the factors considered while recruiting employees. Why is necessary to recruit employees in an enterprise? Explain the various techniques of recruiting employees in an enterprise. Explain the importance of recruiting employees in an enterprise. Explain the objectives of recruiting employees in an enterprise. Induction/orientation/training of workers in an enterprise. Induction refers to all activities undertaken by the employer or manager to make workers, especially new workers, familiar with the organization. It involves introducing new workers to old employees, production process, systems, and supervisors. Objectives/purpose/rationale/need for orientation in an enterprise. 1. To promote teamwork in the enterprise since during the induction exercise, workers new are made aware of the importance of teamwork. 2. To promote discipline among the workers. During this orientation program, new employees are introduced to rules and regulations of the enterprise, their supervisors, etc., which instills discipline in them. 3. To promote employer-zero-employee relations. During this process, new workers come into close contact with various managers or directors of the enterprise at all levels. 4. To enhance productivity in the enterprise. This is because during orientation program, new workers are made aware of the vision, mission, goals, objectives of the enterprise, and the expected production targets from them. 5. To ensure a good stay and comfort of new employees within the enterprise. This is because during induction, workers are assured of a good working environment and, more so, job security. 6. To motivate workers and hence making them better in their present position by giving entrepreneurship, managing personnel, or human resource management. 2. It promotes discipline among the workers. During this orientation program, new employees are introduced to rules and regulations of the enterprise as supervisors, etc., which instills discipline in them. 3. It promotes employer-zero-employee relations. During this process, new workers come into close contact with various managers or directors of the enterprise at all levels. 4. It enhances productivity in the enterprise. This is because during orientation program, new workers are made aware of the vision, mission, goals, objectives of the enterprise, and the expected production targets from them. 5. It ensures a good stay and comfort of new employees within the enterprise. This is because during induction, workers are assured of a good working environment and, more so, job security. 6. It motivates workers and hence making them better in their present position by giving them an opportunity of knowing how to relate with fellow employees and managers. 7. It reduces supervision costs since during induction new workers were told their duties and the time frame. 8. It minimizes role conflict in an enterprise. This is because during induction, new and Old employees are reminded their duties and responsibilities. 9. Creating a pool of readily available and adequate replacement for personnel who may leave or move up in the organization. 10. Enhancing the company's ability to adopt and use advances in technology because of a sufficiently knowledgeable staff. 11. Ensures adequate human resources for expansion into new programs. 12. That reduces employee turnover. 13. Employees frequently develop a greater sense of self-worth, dignity, and well-being as they become more valuable to the firm and to society. 14. Ongoing training for current employees helps them adjust to rapidly changing job requirements. Disadvantages of induction. It is time-consuming. It is expensive to carry out. Below are the steps in the training process. I. Defining organizational objectives. Roman 2. Identifying the need for training. Roman 3. Defining training objectives. Roman 4. Selecting trainers. V. Selecting the training methods and mode. Choose a means of evaluating. Roman 6. Administering training. Roman 7. Evaluating the training. The training process. 1. Selection of trainees. Training programs should be designed to consider the ability of the entrepreneurship, managing personnel, or human resource management. 3. Defining the training methods on the job and off-the-job techniques. On the job. Training is delivered to employees while they perform their regular jobs, hence they do not lose time while they are learning. On the zero-job techniques include orientations, job instruction, training, apprenticeships, internships and assistantships, job rotation and coaching. Off-the-job techniques include lectures, special study, films, television conferences or discussions, case studies, role-playing. Most of these techniques can be used by small businesses. 4. Selecting competent trainers. This depends on the type of training needed and who will be receiving it. On-job training is conducted mostly by supervisors, off-the-job training by either in-house personnel or outside instructors. Many small businesses use in-house personnel to develop formal training programs to be delivered to employees offline from their normal work activities during company meetings or individually at prearranged training sessions. There are many outside training sources, including consultants, technical and vocational schools, consulting, education programs, Chamber of Commerce, and economic development. 5. Training administration. Having planned the training program properly, you must now administer the training to the selected employees. Questions to consider before training begins include I. Location. Roman 2. Facilities. Roman 3. Accessibility. Roman 4. Comfort. Fee equipment. Roman 6. Timing. 6. Evaluation of training. Training should be evaluated several times during the process. Employees should be evaluated by comparing their newly acquired skills with the skills defined by the goals of the training program. Any discrepancies should be noted and adjustments made to the training program to enable it to meet specified goals. The following are reasons why most businesses do not conduct training programs. Time. Small businesses managers find that time demands do not allow them to train employees. Roman 2. Getting started. Employees of small businesses need training, but most times the owners hire them and expect them to learn on the job. The owners are unfamiliar with the whole training process or are reluctant to pursue it. Roman 3. Broad expertise. Managers tend to have broad expertise rather than the specialized skills needed for training and development activities. Roman 4. Lack of trust and openness. Many managers prefer to keep information to themselves, and in so doing, they keep information from subordinates and others who could be useful in the training and development process. Entrepreneurship, managing personnel, or human resource management. Motivation. Motivation is derived from the word motive, which is a dynamic form of a desire, craving, or need which must be satisfied. All motives are directed towards goals, needs, desires, or change of behavior which becomes goal-oriented on. Motivation, therefore, is the process of inducting/encouraging workers to work willingly with all their strength to achieve the desired goals and objectives of an enterprise. Is the process of inducing/encouraging workers to work willingly with all their strength to achieve the desired goals and objectives of an enterprise. Or, it can also be defined as a driving force that compels for a worker to work willingly using all his or her capacities to achieve the desired goals and objectives of an organization. Or, refers to finding out what can make workers achieve highest productivity and doing it for them in order to make them perform better or a desired manner and up to the expected standards. Ways of motivating employees. 1. Through timely and adequate remuneration/payment. The entrepreneur can motivate his employees by adequately and timely paying them their rewards in order to help them meet their basic needs. Payments should match with the work done, level of skills. Annual salary reviews and increments can also motivate employees. 2. By use of open or proper communication. This involves passing on information from one level to another to ensure that employees are able to transmit their complaints and obtain a feedback as soon as possible. This makes them feel part of the enterprise and also understand the crisis situation like inadequate funds to meet their payments. 3. By ensuring favorable working conditions like providing workers with protective gadgets like gloves, gumboots, helmets, good enumerations, unfavorable working hours, etc. This makes them feel satisfaction of the job. 4. Through promotions This is by assuring workers of chances of being promoted to high levels with increase in payments. This motivates them to work hard and perform better. 5. Through ensuring workers with job security. This is where the workers have an assurance about continued employment with the current employer or organization. This is done by using appointment letters, offering them documented work contracts. In case of contract workers, promotions and fringe benefits. 6. By allowing employees to participate in decision-making. Allowing employees to take part in decision-making in the enterprise, especially areas that concern and affect them as implementers or victims of decisions made, gives them a sense of belonging and make them feel important and part of the company. 7. Through on-job training and in-service training. On-job training is the training of entrepreneurship, managing personnel, or human resource management. 9. Through transparent management. This involves proper management of funds of the enterprise and showing employees how the business funds are spent. This motivates workers, especially when they get assurance that the increased profits as a result of their hard work will result into increase in payment and improvement in working conditions. 10. Through observing discipline among workers. Workers can also be motivated when cases of indiscipline within the enterprise are properly and fairly managed. Such cases may include defective work culture like absenteeism and late coming, indiscipline among the supervisors, favoritism and division of workers, disrespect of superiors and fellow workers, etc. This will create a good working environment. 11. Giving fringe benefits. The entrepreneur can also give fringe benefits such as pension, sickness allowances, transport allowance, medical, lunch allowances, sickness and maternal leaves. 12. Through performance appraisal. Appraising workers according to their contributions to the business will go a long way in motivating them. 13. Through provision of adequate and timely recommendations where necessary. It is common for most firms to recommend their employees. Importance of motivating in an enterprise. 1. Motivation improves workers' productivity as it directs all their efforts and energies to work harder in the enterprise, which increases output per worker and total output. 2. Motivation stimulates workers to perform their duties and given tasks effectively and efficiently, and thus positively contributes towards the achievement of the set business goals such as increased sales and profit margins, cost minimization, etc. 3. Motivation improves the image of the business or enterprise. This encourages employees to start identifying themselves with the business ideas and objectives, which make them even perform better. 4. Motivation minimizes strikes by employees since workers are contented and satisfied at their place of work. For example, they are given opportunity to participate in decision-making, regularly informed about the enterprise's activities, progress, and development. 5. It enhances teamwork among the employees as it makes them feel important and part of the enterprise, for instance, when they take part in decision-making, when the enterprise management is transparent. 6. Motivation in form of financial or monetary rewards improves workers' standard of living and in turn increases their commitment to the enterprise. 7. Worker skills are improved through motivation in form of providing training and higher education sponsorships. This makes the workers more efficient. 8. Motivation prevents employees from seeking alternative employment elsewhere and therefore helps in retaining workers. This is because it creates job satisfaction, hence reducing high labor turnover. 9. It improves on the relationship between employees and employers. Why is necessary to motivate employees in an enterprise? Justify the rationale for motivation in an enterprise. Explain the objectives of motivating employees in an enterprise. Approach. Begin with in order to slashing tense. 1. To improve workers' productivity as it directs all their efforts and energies to work harder in the enterprise, which increases output per worker and total output. Entrepreneurship, managing personnel or human resource management. 3. To improve the image of the business or enterprise. This encourages employees to start identifying themselves with the business ideas and objectives, which make them even perform better. 4. To minimize strikes by employees since workers are contented and satisfied at their place of work. For example, they are given opportunity to participate in decision-making, regularly informed about the enterprise's activities, progress and development. 5. To enhance teamwork among the employees as it makes them feel important and part of the enterprise, for instance, when they take part in decision-making, when the enterprise management is transparent. 6. To improve workers' standards of living. Motivation in form of financial or monetary rewards is intended to improve on workers' well-being and increase their commitment to the enterprise. 7. To improve on worker skills through motivation in form of providing training and higher education sponsorships. This makes the workers more efficient. 8. To retain good employees in an enterprise. It is intended to prevent employees from seeking alternative employment elsewhere and therefore helps in retaining workers. This is because it creates job satisfaction, hence reducing high labor turnover. 9. To improve on the relationship between employees and employers. Performance appraisal in business is the judgment of an employee's performance in his or her job based on productivity and other considerations. Methods used to appraise workers' performance in an enterprise. 1. Ranking method. This involves arranging or ranking employees in order of their ability on the job, but sometimes according to some few characteristics or factors selected by the manager. It can be based on output, quality or activity. 2. Grading. This requires the entrepreneur or manager to group employees in predetermined series of merit categories, usually on the basis of their total performance. It can also be based on output, productivity, etc. 3. The rating scale. This is the most common method of appraisal used. It consists of a list of special characteristics or factors against each of which a scale usually of up to 5 points or marks is given. An assessment of performance is based on those factors and rating scales. 4. The open-minded method. This is where the manager or entrepreneur appraises employees' performance with special emphasis on how the job is done and also writes comments about certain aspects of the job being performed in the employees. 5. Behavior expectation scales. This method appraises performance on the basis of the employee's behavior in aspects related to his or her job. It is also sometimes referred to as the behaviorally anchored rating scale technique. BOSS. Objectives of performance appraisal. Entrepreneurship, managing personnel or human resource management. 3. To identify the training needs of employees, i.e. areas of performance where improvement would occur in case appropriate training is given. 4. To motivate employees to perform better by giving them opportunity to appraise their own performances, know the appraisal results and also discuss their work with their managers. 5. To determine the future use of an employee, i.e. whether he/her will remain in his present job or be transferred, promoted, demoted or discussed. 6. To determine pay increment to be given to employees. This is especially so where increment in employees' payment is done on basis of performance or merit. Employee relations. This refers to the interaction between the employer and the workers in an enterprise. 3rd, employee relations in enterprise enhance business performance. The following are the ways of achieving good employee relations in an enterprise. 1. Proper communication. The entrepreneur should communicate effectively with the employees about the fundamental business goals and objectives and policies to influence them to work willingly towards their achievements. 2. Proper motivation. The entrepreneur should appropriately motivate his or her workers by praising them for good work done, giving them performance bonuses, etc. 3. Treating workers with respect and dignity. The employer should show his or her workers genuine respect and dignity and must recognize them as human beings who have to be adopted and treated equally/fairly in order to perform their best for their enterprise. 4. Providing good relationship. The employer can also ensure good employee relations by leading, for example, through his actions and forcing them to work. 5. Provision of favorable working environment. The employer should ensure a conducive working environment by supervising the workers in a kind rather than rough manner, encouraging workers to learn, providing opportunity to discuss their operational problems. 6. Knowing and understanding the workers well. The employer should endeavor to know his workers well, get to know the character and personality, their strengths and weaknesses, and then open up free communication. 7. Handling grievances fairly and tactfully. The entrepreneur should use proper and fair method of handling grievances with the speed and urgency each situation requires. 8. Showing sympathy. The entrepreneur should always imagine him/herself in the situation of his or her workers in order to understand their problems and also be able to deal with them adequately. 9. Promoting economic satisfaction and development of the workers. The entrepreneur should try to satisfy the needs of his or her workers, especially their basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter. Employee/labor turnover. Labor turnover refers to the movement of employees in and out of a business. However, the entrepreneurship managing personnel or human resource management. Roman 3. Recruiting and selecting the wrong employees in the first place, meaning they leave to seek more suitable employment. Roman 4. A buoyant local labor market offering more and perhaps more attractive opportunities/stiff competition in the job markets. B. Disrespect of employees at the workplace. Roman 6. Unfair treatment of employees in the enterprise. Roman 7. Poor working conditions. Roman 8. Poor relationship with employers/owners. Roman 9. Indiscipline among the existing employees may force new employees to leave the enterprise. X. Inadequate job security/unfavorable job contents. Ways of reducing labor turnover in an enterprise. 1. Proper communication. The entrepreneur should communicate effectively with the employees about the fundamental business goals and objectives and policies to influence them to work willingly towards their achievements. 2. Proper motivation. The entrepreneur should appropriately motivate his or her workers by praising them for good work done, giving them performance bonuses, etc. 3. Treating workers with respect and dignity. The employer should show his or her workers genuine respect and dignity and must recognize them as human beings who have to be adopted and treated equally/fairly in order to perform their best for their enterprise. 4. Providing good relationship. The employer can also ensure good employee relations by leading, for example, through his actions than forcing them to work. 5. Provision of favorable working environment. The employer should ensure a conducive working environment by supervising the workers in a kind rather than rough manner, encouraging workers to learn, providing opportunity to discuss their operational problems. 6. Knowing and understanding the workers well. The employer should endeavor to know his workers well, get to know their character and personality, their strengths and weaknesses, and then open up free communication. 7. Handling grievances fairly and tactfully. The entrepreneur should use proper and fair method of handling grievances with the speed and urgency each situation requires. 8. Showing sympathy. The entrepreneur should always imagine him/herself in the situation of his or her workers in order to understand their problems and also be able to deal with them adequately. 9. Promoting economic satisfaction and development of the workers. The entrepreneur should try to satisfy the needs of his or her workers, especially their basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter. The following can also be done to reduce labor turnover. I. Employee engagement. The organization has capacity to engage, retain, and optimize. The value of its employees hinges on how well jobs are designed, how employees' time is used, and the commitment and support that is shown to employees by the management. Roman 2. Knowledge accessibility. The extent of the firm's collaboration and its capacity for knowledge and ideas widely available to employees would make them stay in the organization. Roman 3. Sharing of information. This should be made at all levels of management. This accessibility of information would lead to strong performance from the employees and create a strong corporate culture. Therefore, information accessibility would make employees feel that they are appreciated for their effort and chances of leaving their organization would be minimized. Entrepreneurship managing personnel or human resource management. Roman 4. Workforce optimization. The organization's success in optimizing the performance of the employees by establishing essential processes for getting work done, providing good working conditions, establishing accountability, and making good hiring choices would retain employees in their organization. V. Job involvement. This describes an individual's participation with work and indicates the extent to which an individual identifies psychologically with his or her job. Involvement in terms of internalizing value about the goodness or the importance of work encourages employees not to quit their jobs. Roman 6. Empowering of employees. This could help to enhance the continuity of employees in organizations. Empower your employees and delegate more decisions to their subordinates. Managers should act like coaches and help employees solve problems. Cost of labor turnover. It leads to additional recruitment costs. Roman 2. Increased cost of training replacement employees. Roman 3. Loss of know-how and customer goodwill. Roman 4. Potential loss of sales if there is high turnover amongst the sales force. V. Damage that may be done to morale and productivity and tangible cost. Measuring labor turnover. It involves calculating the number of leavers in a period, usually a year, as a percentage of the number employed during the same period. This is known as the separation rate or accrued wastage rate, and it is calculated as follows. Separation rate equals number of leavers. X 100. Average number employed. For example, if a business has 150 leavers during the year and on average, it employed 2,000 people during the year, the labor turnover figure would be labor turnover equals 15 x 100. 2,000 equals 0.75%. An alternative calculation of labor turnover is known as the stability index. This illustrates the extent to which the experienced workforce is being retained and is calculated as follows. Number of employees with 1 or more years service now. Number employed 1 year ago x 100. Patterns of labor turnover. The highest rate of labor turnover tends to be among those who have recently joined a business. Longer-serving employees are more likely to stay, mainly because they become used to the work and the business and have an established relationship with those around them.